Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Alexis Bellino admits she acted 16 instead of 46 after Shannon beat her text message on RHOC. Before the Real Housewives of Orange County Season 18 premiered, Alexis Bellino's return was expected to be a disaster. Her relationship with John Jansen meant there would be continual drama, as his ex-girlfriend, Shannon Beater, was one of the main cast members. Throughout the past 13 episodes, we've witnessed Alexis try to change the perception of John, but things seemingly hit the point of no return during Thursday's episode. Alexis melted down after sending Shannon a literal olive branch. While the drama surrounding the London trip delivered some first-class reality TV, it showcased an immature side Alexis, as she threw her supposed friends out of her home after hearing the group was going to London with Shannon. Somehow, Alexis thought she'd attend the cast trip, but Shannon wasn't about to let her enemy ruin another getaway. The recurring theme this season has been Alexis ruining Shannon's happiness. Whenever they're supposed to be on cast trips, something happens that makes Shannon question everything. Now that Alexis has had time to decompress from the situation, she's speaking out and wants viewers to know she wasn't expecting an invite on the trip. Alexis is well aware that things will never be fine and dandy with Shannon, but she did expect some recognition of the steps she's been making in the group to allow them to be cordial with one another. During the official RHOC after show, the 47-year-old admitted that she could have handled the situation better with the ladies in her house. She noted that she acted 16 instead of 46, which shows possible self-reflection. Alexis hasn't had an easy time with viewers because the show's narrative has been about how she's devoted to finding justice for John in his long-running dispute with Shannon. Alexis has been vocal about wanting to redeem John, which makes sense. Most of her co-stars have an issue with this because they already had an opinion of John when he was with Shannon long before Alexis knew he existed. Alex's meltdown earned her the ire of viewers, which is sure to complicate any hope of her returning for another season of the long-running reality series. The most recent episode also received criticism for bringing John Jansen on to discuss his legal battle with Shannon, which many deemed a ploy by producers to give him a platform. The issue is that John had previously claimed he didn't want to be in the limelight, yet he is sharing confessionals with Alexis. Many icky things are going on right now, but the ickiest is that RHOC producers seemingly want Alexis and John to believe they're on the right side of history with this battle. It will be interesting to see how Alexis manages to nestle herself back into the group after her actions. There are some moments in life that take you right back to your teenage years, when emotions were raw, unchecked, and impulsive. For Alexis Bellino, former cast member of the Real Housewives of Orange County, this moment came courtesy of a text message from Shannon Beater that left her reeling. What started as a simple exchange spiraled into something she never expected, pulling her into a mental space she hadn't visited since her younger days. Alexis has now come forward to admit that her reaction was anything but mature. In her words, "I acted 16 instead of 46. But what exactly happened between Alexis and Shannon to spark this emotional regression? And why is Alexis so adamant in confessing her mistake now? Let's rewind to the drama, which, in true Housewives fashion, unfolded in a way that was both dramatic and revealing. A simple text turns explosive. It all started with a seemingly innocent text message from Shannon Beater, a fellow RHOC star. Alexis hadn't been a mainstay on the show for some time, but that didn't mean she was out of the loop. With Shannon's involvement in the current cast and Alexis still connected to the OC social scene, the two were bound to cross paths eventually. Shannon's text wasn't the firestarter many expected. In fact, by all accounts, it was nothing more than a casual reach-out about a mutual event. But in the world of the Real Housewives, nothing stays casual for long. Misinterpretations can explode like fireworks, and this was no exception. Alexis, who had endured years of public scrutiny, stress, and high-pressure filming, saw something deeper in Shannon's words. Maybe it was the tone, or perhaps it was a trigger from old wounds that had never fully healed. Either way, her mind began racing, and that's when she slipped into what she now calls her teenage self. When I read the message, something snapped inside me, Alexis later shared in a Raw interview, visibly emotional. It was like every insecurity I ever had came rushing to the surface. Instead of pausing and thinking things through like a grown woman, I just reacted. I was right back in high school, thinking everyone was against me. The reaction that surprised everyone. Within moments of reading Shannon's message, Alexis's emotional armor cracked wide open. Instead of taking a breath and responding diplomatically, Alexis fired back with a flurry of sharp defensive texts. The exchange quickly devolved into a battle of words, with Alexis accusing Shannon of stirring up drama and acting superior. It was a far cry from the poised and measured Alexis that fans had grown accustomed to seeing in her later years. As word of their spat spread through the OC grapevine, it became clear that the fallout wasn't just confined to text messages. Social media posts began to surface, cryptic at first, but soon more obvious. Shannon responded with her own messages, hinting at Alexis's immaturity without naming names. Their feud was now out in the open, leaving fans buzzing about what had triggered such an outburst. I look back at that moment now, and I'm just embarrassed. Alexis admitted during a heartfelt moment on a podcast, addressing the situation for the first time publicly. I'm a 46-year-old woman. I should have known better. I'm at a point in my life where I've learned so much about handling conflict, about staying calm. But somehow, I let Shannon's message drag me back to a place where I was that insecure girl in my 20s. Facing the fallout for Alexis, the next few days were filled with reflection and regret. Friends and loved ones reached out, surprised at the intensity of her reaction. As the drama played out publicly, Alexis found herself questioning how she'd let things spiral so out of control. This wasn't who she was anymore, or at least, it wasn't who she wanted to be. The truth is, I've done a lot of work on myself over the years, Alexis shared. Therapy, self-reflection, meditation, you name it. I thought I was in a place where I could handle anything life threw at me. But that moment with Shannon showed me that I still have some growing to do. It was humbling, to say the least. While Alexis's initial reaction was impulsive, what followed was a mature and thoughtful reckoning with her actions. Instead of continuing the back and forth with Shannon or trying to justify her behavior, Alexis took a step back. She apologized publicly, admitting that she'd overreacted and handled the situation poorly. I'm not proud of how I acted, but I think there's something to be said for owning your mistakes, Alexis said. I could have let my pride get in the way and kept the feud going. But at the end of the day, I'm a mother. I want to set a good example for my children, and that means admitting when I'm wrong. Growth and moving forward. In the aftermath of the drama, Alexis has been focused on personal growth and mending relationships. She reached out to Shannon directly, offering a more thoughtful and measured apology. While the two women aren't exactly best friends, there's a sense that the feud has cooled, and both are ready to move on. I think Shannon and I are in different places in our lives, and that's okay, Alexis reflected. We don't have to be besties, but we can be civil. I'm not interested in dragging out petty fights anymore. Life's too short for that. As for her journey, Alexis is using this experience as a reminder to stay grounded, even when emotions run high. She's turned the spotlight inward, continuing her work on self-awareness and emotional regulation. For Alexis, this public misstep has become an opportunity for growth. I'm not perfect, and I don't pretend to be, she said. I think that's something I've really embraced in my 40s. I'm still learning, still evolving, and that's okay. This experience with Shannon just showed me that I've got more work to do, and I'm committed to doing it. With this chapter behind her, Alexis Bellino is ready to move forward with grace and dignity. No longer that 16-year-old girl stuck in a cycle of insecurity, she's embracing her role as a mature, empowered woman, one who can face her mistakes, learn from them, and keep growing. For Alexis, this isn't the end of her story. It's just another step in her journey of self-discovery.